On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got a big show, a lot of stuff to share, a lot of video in today's show. Also got a great music show coming up, and for any of you guys that don't like it when I sing along, which I always do, today I won't be, because I don't actually know any of the songs. This will be literally like my 2.5 times, essentially, of hearing the music. So I don't even know the songs. I don't know any of them. I heard 0 of the songs before I started. Picked some really, really awesome music, as it turned out. Apparently I grabbed some rather popular stuff, so you guys should enjoy it. It'll be good kind of worship music, if you will, Christian-y music, God music. I don't know, they don't use Christ that often in the lyrics, interestingly, but it's all about God and all that stuff, which I love. I think it's beautiful. So very good music. We'll have that going at normal time on Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. All that said, got a lot to talk about. We're going to start with this video that Trump posted. Trump posted a bunch of crap today, so I've got a whole lot of stuff from his Truth Social. We're going to start with this. This is a fun little reminder.
Sometimes in history, there's this magic moment. Somebody appears on the scene and everything changes.
I am with you.
We've never seen anything like this.
I will fight for you.
This was a man who's met his destiny.
And I will win for you.
He said he was saved by God in order to make America great again.
His victory was the greatest comeback of all time.
You're watching history, so buckle up.
I don't think the American people have ever seen this before. A government that has moved this quickly and a president that has done so much when it comes to the border and energy and major investments from other countries. It's like warp speed.
47's on a hot streak, bringing head-snapping change to Washington, overwhelming the system with a volcanic eruption of action. Trump has a mandate from the people, and he's using it, and they're just getting started.
President Trump said on the campaign trail, success will be my retribution.
Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
America's back, common sense is back. He is keeping his promise to you, the American people.
Inflation is down, growth is up.
The numbers don't lie. The economy is soaring.
Lowest gas prices in 4 years.
And record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll, culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
The Trump economic golden age is full steam ahead.
America is back, thanks to the courage of President Trump, thanks to the leadership of his amazing cabinet, and thanks, of course, to our brave men and women in the United States military.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
Between the attacks on Iran's nuke site and the Maduro operation, the U.S. military recruitment at an all-time high.
This president will go down in history as a peacemaking president.
Peace through strength, America's in charge.
And he's just got one filter, and that is America first.
Whatever they're doing, it's working. Zero illegal crossing, drug cartels frustrated, less crime.
We have the most secure border in the history of this nation. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
The president isn't taking his foot off the gas in 2026.
It's a new year. The stock markets are already making new record highs.
The Trump archive are a series of near impossible feats.
As for the next year, the American people have so much to look forward to. The president will continue to build off of his historic accomplishments.
2025 was setting the table, but the banquet's going to be in 2026.
This is the golden age coming.
He says, make America great again because every American is invited.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun.
And to think we've only had just 1 year. Oh my gosh. Melania Trump's new movie's coming out, and this trailer actually looks pretty cool. Check it out.
Here we go again.
wants to know. So here it is.
Meow. Right? Wow. Very, very good stuff. Donald Trump truth this out. Record numbers all over the place. Should I try for a fourth term? Oh, you know, it's pissing people off. We've got, again, like I said, lots of video. Okay, so yesterday I was kind of hard on Ivan Reichman, and, you know, there's this part of me that felt bad, especially after watching this. I'm like, oh, well, the guy that got in his face is actually a bigger dick than Ivan. But I'm still going to say I was probably a little too hard on Ivan, but it looks like I'm not the only person that has hard feelings about Ivan. So we'll get there in a second. Oops. Whoopsie. Try that again. There we go.
I would like to quickly address the police officers from January 6th. Mr. Dunn, Mr. Fanone, Mr. Gonell, Mr. Hodges. I'm a member of the new select committee to actually examine what happened that day. And I can tell you, gentlemen, that the fault does not lie with Donald Trump. It lies with Yogananda Pittman and the U.S. Capitol leadership team. We know they had the intelligence, and there was going to be a high propensity for violence that day. Claim my time, yeah.
Yeah, so that guy kind of said some douchey stuff there. And we heard it yesterday. He basically said, go F yourself, essentially. So that was the guy that confronted Reichman at the end, or Ivan at the end there. And, you know, again, he's just someone that's very, I don't know, cocky, arrogant, whatever. But probably has earned it to a large extent. It's just kind of his personality, I think, you know. So, again, kind of rubs me the wrong way personally. But, like, I felt bad. But then I saw this. Just Human had put this out, and so, I don't know. It looks like he has similar feelings in the big picture. But raccoon and opossum fighting, let them fight. And then, of course, you see the little tiff beginning, and we shared that yesterday. And Just Human says, when you see Raikkonen and Fanon bickering over who's the top rodent in a malign influence dumpster, it's kind of almost true, actually. Needless to say, there we are. Donald Trump truthed this out to the Canadian Prime Minister. Dear Prime Minister Carney, please let this letter serve to represent that the Board of Peace is withdrawing its invitation to you regarding Canada's joining what will be the most prestigious board of leaders ever assembled at any time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald Trump, all capital letters this time, representing the current corporation, basically. Now, interestingly, Carney was trying to say, like, well, it's not up to you. Kind of is, dude. So you probably just got dropped from the board. You can't afford it anyway. It cost $1 billion. So, yeah, probably not going to be joining that anytime soon. This really bad winter storm is happening. Hopefully you guys have heard about it. It's going to be affecting us for days, certainly days. They're saying about 10 days. It is going to cause extreme cold in large parts of this country. Roughly about 200 million people will be affected. I talked a lot about it yesterday's show, a lot of different things you can do to protect yourself. I hope you heard yesterday's show. If not, it's towards the beginning of the show. I talk about this storm. If you are somebody that is going to be going through this, I understand that it's supposed to really start hitting tonight and into tomorrow, Saturday. So be prepared as best you can. Make sure you got your pipes taken care of. Make sure you've got some water, maybe bathtubs filled up like we talked about yesterday. Make sure you have the ability to heat a room. If you have a tent, maybe get that set up in a room that's an interior room with no windows, if you can. And again, keep in mind neighbors. If you've got elderly neighbors, maybe have them come over and stay with you. Again, it's easier to keep multiple people warm than it is to split up and try to keep individuals warm. But this will be a challenge probably for us, and quite possibly one of the worst storms ever. Nearly 1,300 flights have already been canceled ahead of this. This is flights that were supposed to happen on Saturday. So already large amounts of flights. They're expecting travel to be just ridiculous. If you can avoid travel, do not travel. Over the next week, at least, if you can. This is kind of a trip, too. New York, they're tripping about the years that ended 6. I think ever since 96, they have had very strange things happen on those years. Here's that example. It's kind of a trip. Check it out.
And New Yorkers have got to be scratching their heads saying, what's with the 6s? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was working on, Gail, when I ran in here. Think about this. 1996, All right? We had a storm that delivered 20.2 inches, the fifth biggest in city history. 10 years later, 2006, we pick up our second biggest snowstorm ever, 26.9. 10 years after that, 2016, we pick up the biggest snowstorm in New York City history, 27.5. What does 10 years later, this Sunday, on 2026 hold? We shall find out, Gail.
Yeah, this is probably going to be worse than the last one, most likely. And we'll see how it plays out. This is not the newest information, but it's good to rehear. Listening to Ratcliffe talk about some of the nonsense that the Biden administration was doing with the what I want to say the documents cases. I believe what this story's about, and how they really Jack Smith was messing with records and got them out of sync and actually put evidence in place that wasn't actually there to begin with. Whole thing's a mess. Jack Smith should probably be charged with crimes.
Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit that that was staged. And those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents, those were placed there by the FBI. And what Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his word, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence, then we lied to the court about it. And they got caught when President Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed. This reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria. I think the only reason...
Yeah, they could. We'll see. Again, some of the nonsense that's playing out right now in the courts is just crazy. We'll get into some of that here in a second. The House did finally pass all of the government funding bills. All of them have passed through the House. Now, oddly, the one for the Department of Homeland Security, this was the one that a lot of the anti-ICE people were hoping they could hold back, and they still might be able to in the Senate. The only Republican not to vote for it, Massey. The only Republican that did not vote for the DHS bill, Thomas Massey. We will be getting rid of Thomas Massey. This will be a fantastic thing. Much like getting rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's going to feel so good, and that day is coming. Thune is coming under GOP pressure, the leader of the Senate. They essentially want him to get rid of the filibuster. He's like, we'll see. There's a way they can try to pass these budgets through. One of them, the healthcare one in particular, is what they're really focused on. They want to get this thing passed, or else the Dems are going to do something crazy if they get back into office. They won't, but they got to talk that way because it makes the Dems feel like they're working in that direction. They're not. We got a lot of things that are coming, but we'll see how it plays out. But they're getting pressure from moderate swing state Republicans to vote on a package that extends the Enhanced Affordable Care Act health insurance subsidies that expired last month. They're basically saying if he brings this legislation, the package similar to Trump can budget reconciliation. So if they do it as a budget reconciliation process that avoids the Democrat filibuster, that means they just need a majority vote. He says that's not something he wants to do, but it is an option. So he's not straying away from it per se, but we'll say. We got Republicans, Susan Collins, Josh Hawley, and Bernie Moreno, who want to extend the subsidies. Again, here's 3 Republicans that will never be in office again once we finally get a chance to go get them out. Now, Susan Collins is up for election this year. Hawley has probably got 2 more years. We'll get rid of, or 4, 2 more years after. We'll get rid of him. That'll happen. Bernie Moreno, don't even really know who he is, but yeah, we'll get rid of him as well. These people are all on the wrong side of this. So we'll see. This is part of the war, guys. Part of the war. All right, we got a lot of things to fix, and A lot of this is being brought to our attention, so this is important. Again, bunch of video. Let's get going on this. Oops, probably didn't need to do that.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. When the Republicans were saying that illegal immigrants are voting and turning the states blue, I did not believe them. And the reason that I didn't believe them was because I was like, well, you have to have a driver's license, and in order to have a driver's license, you have to have a social security number. And if there were any other government documents that you had to have in order to vote, those also require a social security number, and only American citizens can obtain those. But then I discovered that there are 14 states out of 50 that do not require any type of identification at the polls. For those 14 states, there's an exception where they may be required to show ID. And then in quite a few states also, there are government-issued IDs to non-citizens where they can vote for certain municipalities. And then there are 12 states that require documentation but no photo ID required, so it could literally be something like a utility bill. And that's not counting the 14 I listed earlier. So we're already over 50% of the entire country that does not have proper documentation to vote. And then there are 9 states that request your photo ID but offer alternative ways to vote like an affidavit. There are only 10 states in America that strictly require photo government ID to vote. The Republicans were not wrong. And this was the source I used in case anybody was curious. It's nonpartisan.
Yeah, what's funny is Georgia is one of the states that requires photo ID. Georgia, of all the states that's had just so many issues. So again, there's no guarantees on that. Just a reminder about how the votes were flipped. Definitely like last minute for sure, but here's the example of it. We all saw it on TV.
For Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes.
Yeah, fraud beyond words. Fraud beyond words. Here's some more, of course. Don't want to get lost. I think this is Minnesota stuff. Our forensic record. Oh, this is about the forensic hard drive of the voting machines. Check this out.
But the image is a perfect copy.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
was
a
a
clone
perfect
of the
copy
system.
of a hard drive.
Forensic copy, bit for bit, of everything that was on the Mesa County computer.
I had some people who knew my capabilities that said, you really ought to look at this.
She's the clerk. So those systems operation for an election, it was her duty to preserve those election records.
And then when they compared the two images, they discovered that election records had been deleted or altered.
29,000 of them that are the fingerprints, the DNA, the blood type of how they got to the totals of the 2020 and the 2021 election.
Just to clarify, there were 2 forensic images taken of the Mesa County election server. One before the software update. Another image taken after. Then you were able to compare the two.
Everything that had been on that drive before this update was gone.
Looks like a cover-up. Low risk of being caught, low consequence if they are caught. I mean, there's a layered defense against transparency for the public.
The reason we know it was deliberate is because of Tina Peters.
Are those files important to elections?
Critical.
What's up with the computer voice? What is it? Is that Stephen Hawking's? That was interviewing them. It's so weird. Anyways, yes, nasty. And Tina Peters, of course, still in jail, by the way. Still in jail. And then recently they busted her for getting in a fight when she got beat up in a closet that was off camera. And then they viewed her coming out of it kind of swinging and blame her, of course. Just fucking crazy. Anyways, here is a Newsmax story. Again, talking about more of this conspiracy, corruption nonsense.
Right behind me in this beautiful building is actually the Peachtree Pine homeless shelter.
The weird thing that's happening here is that, again, according to Georgia registration rules, people are still registered to vote from this exact same location. Over 70 people are actively still registered to vote, according to the most recent Georgia registration rules. Mr. Lee is registered to vote right here. It's a highway bridge, essentially. So is he registered to live under the bridge?
So that is independent journalist David Cate, and that's just a small portion of his reporting. He says thousands of voters in Georgia are registered in empty lots, abandoned homes, a highway overpass, even a UPS store. This despite the state of Georgia saying it has the most up-to-date voter registration rolls in the country. David Cate joins us now. Great to have you. Let's just start by saying that all of this reporting we have not been able to verify, but these reports are shocking, to say the least. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is in charge of voter registration. He's currently considering a run for governor. In 2024, not that long ago, Brad said, quote, Georgia's voter rolls are the cleanest in the nation thanks to the diligent partnerships we've made to secure our elections. David, do you agree with that?
Thank you so much for having me on. Absolutely, I don't agree with that at all, because anybody from the Secretary of State's office can just get in their car, drive 8 minutes and see an empty lot. And, you know, most people see an empty lot and not really care about it. But when you can purchase the voter rolls for $45 like I did, and you get the most updated ones, which I got them on January 3rd, you can see that a person is for some reason registered to vote currently on those rolls there. You start to question, why won't anybody from that office go down there and see for themselves exactly what I saw and go around Fulton County a little bit further? Just 2 more minutes down the road, you'll find an individual that is registered to vote under an underpass. There's no mailboxes under a bridge.
Right.
And you will find this is a systemic issue across the county, but not just the county is what we've uncovered through the people that have been investigating this for 5 years now. It's a systemic problem across all of the state of Georgia.
It's unbelievable. We reached out to the Georgia Secretary of State for comment. We haven't gotten a response, but let's take a look at another clip from your reporting.
We're at a UPS store located at 2625 Piedmont Road Northeast in Atlanta, Fulton County, where apparently 96 people are right now actively registered to vote. And the reason we're laughing is because this is such a clear violation of law in Georgia.
It's unbelievable. The law says you're supposed to be registered at your house, a primary residence. So how can 96 people claim a UPS store to be their private residence?
Not only is it 96 people, it's over thousands of people just in one single county that claim places like this as their actual physical residence, which under Georgia law, if they are registered to vote from there, it means that they are putting their head to sleep in that place, they're cooking there, they're showering in there, and you probably can guess that is impossible to do inside a UPS store when it's hundreds of people are saying that they are designated from there. It's not just happening at UPS stores in Fulton County, it's also happening at what they call virtual mailboxes. It's a business, it's a legit place where people that may be out of the county, out of the country, that are registered to receive their mail from there. But it doesn't mean that they qualify or that they're eligible to vote in Fulton County elections or in even the state of Georgia elections.
Yeah, they are cheating all over the place. And again, for any of you guys that want to become instantly famous, whatever state you're in, unless you're in, unfortunately, one of the states where it's already breaking, I highly recommend you start visiting some of these daycare facilities, some of these healthcare facilities, some of these facilities, and you'll probably find much the same thing. And you can start exposing the same fraud that we are seeing all over the place. Another video here. This one is, this was talking about Nevada and the cheating that Nevada has been doing.
42,000 people in Nevada voted more than once, according to your work in this. 42,000 people. 1,500 people voted in Nevada that were dead. 19,000 people voted though they did not live in Nevada and they weren't a college student. 8,000 people voted from a non-existent address. 15,000 people voted though they were registered to a commercial address or a vacant address, and 4,000 people voted in Nevada that are non-citizens. My question to you is, in my state, when someone votes twice, and we do have that occasionally, and about 50 times a year that actually occurs in our state, we prosecute individuals that vote twice. Of this 130,000 instances that you have identified from the 2020 election in Nevada, do you know of any prosecutions currently going on in Nevada for any voter fraud?
Not yet, Senator, and that's extremely important. These laws have to be enforced. We, of course, I represent the Trump campaign and the campaign's electors. I don't represent the government. We can't bring prosecutions. But if we are going to enforce voter integrity laws, they must be enforced, and we are confident that although it often takes a long time to put together a fraud case, although it takes prosecutors months, sometimes even years, to go through subpoenas and warrants and using the FBI to go investigate these things, once a good hard look at these cases is examined, an honest look, if we do that, there should be charges brought. Because the ranking member brought up in his remarks that when you lose the principle of one person, one vote, the end result is authoritarian.
Yeah. And for all you people out there that are insistent that justice be had and be had quickly, please understand, we don't have justice before we have judges we can trust. And right now we don't. There are an overwhelming number of blue judges that will never prosecute these people. Never. No matter what. We could put a bang-up, open-close case against them, and the judge will withhold the filing, or will keep it from going to court, or will just plain not give out what the jury said. We've got cases of judges doing that now. I think, was it healthcare related or something jacked up? I think Minnesota, so much corruption, it's harder than hell to keep track of it all nowadays. So these blue slip laws, Grassley, again, the dude that's holding that down, Grassley I'm done with. I'm absolutely done with Grassley. That's just, I didn't want to hate him because he's a sweet old man. He really is. Seems like a sweet old man. But that's it. We're done with him. He either does the right thing, which is the blue slip thing, Grassley, or you're out. Done. Don't give a shit how nice you are. You're out. You guys are the problem. You old long-term Senate Republican liars are the problem. Democrats, we get what we expect. You guys, you're wolf in sheep's clothing. You guys are horrible. I don't know about Lindsey Graham. I just don't like him because he's such a war hawk, and I think he's doing shady shit. But Grassley, who else? Who else? Some of the bad ones we've got in there. Good Lord. Can't even think of I can think of the names of the couple good ones. That's all I can think of right now. And then a few that are on the fence. Ted Cruz maybe being that. He's just a talker, though. Never does anything. Gavin Newsom's gerrymandering. They're having to fight one of the districts in court. The individual that wrote up the district themselves actually said they were creating a Latino district. The ones that formed the district, that's illegal. And it's apparently admitted to. And if it was admitted to, then it's a non-legal district. And I don't know if that means they got to redraw up all the districts or what. But this was one of the districts that was destroying a GOP district, by the way. I forget who was the person that was in it. So many House people we probably wouldn't remember anyway. And it's even my state, and I don't even know. It's not my area. But yeah, whatever the case is. Can't find him. Is this it? Paul Mitchell? Yeah. No. Congress, Jeffries, whatever. It's so hard to find stuff in here sometimes. Did I actually read this? Wow, I think I read a lot more of this article than I realized. That's probably part of it. Anyway, whatever the hell, who cares? Dana White, the only states Kamala Harris would have won are the ones that don't require voter ID. Kind of funny.
Well, if you saw the election, the entire country relates with Trump right now. When all the swing states, the only states she won were the ones that you didn't need ID to vote in. It would have been interesting if you needed ID, how that would have played out too. I think that I think the whole country, it feels like somebody hit the reset button. Everything feels and
it really does to me too. I agree. It feels like the reset button was hit. Now, is it happening quickly? No, but I mean personally, I've never had any thought in my mind that this was going to happen quickly. In fact, I'm going to say from my standpoint, it's actually happening faster than I thought it would. So I'm impressed. And I honestly give a lot of the credit to you guys, or us. I mean, I'm playing my role in this too, but I think what we've done and what we've been able to focus ourselves on is changing the world. Now, finally, one of the last things that I've got, at least today, on the fix page, if you will, this was posted by Audrey, and she's talking about these 8 Republicans are fighting against the SAVE Act. This is the act that requires voter ID. 8 Republicans that are, I guess I should add 3 fingers. Yeah, 8 Republicans. This is 17. 8 Republicans are fighting against the SAVE Act. And we need to let these rhinos know how we feel. Seriously. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis, Chuck Grassley, Todd Young, and Jerry Moran. None of them should ever be reelected again. Now, Rand Paul just got in 2 years ago, I believe. So we got 4 more years of that piece of shit. It's all right. There might be other ways we can get them out. I hope he's not done anything illegal. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. Who knows? I want to remind you guys of Healthy Home. Love these guys. Heal Thy Home. I love products that get us focused on health and get us focused in the right direction. I'm very about manifesting. You guys know the Dan RadioStyle channel on YouTube. I've had it for 13, 14 years. A lot of manifesting videos, almost 1,000. I'm oddly good at it. I get it. I've played it for a long time. I've done it for a long time. Actually made little money on that channel, believe it or not. Did some coaching and crap, but actually coached someone who was dating Will Smith's son, which was kind of interesting. So, kind of fun experience. All that said, I like products that focus us on a solution that helps fix the issue. By focusing on a negative thing, you continue more of that negative thing. That's why so many people, I'm doing it for the children, but you're focused on all the bad, horrible things that are happening to children. And if that's what you're focused on, that's literally what you're bringing attention to. That's what you're bringing energy towards. It's going to continue to happen because that's your sole focus, is this thing that I'm fighting for. And if that thing goes away, what are you going to fight for? Right? So you got to focus on the good outcome. A world where people are treating children fair. A world where people, God, you don't even want to say people are not being trafficked, right? Because you can't do it like that. But on a world where all these illegalities of trafficking and drugs and all this stuff no longer exists. And really, again, that's not the proper way to manifest. It's just a happy, healthy world. A world where my family's healthy. I mean, really, you just kind of ignore the concept of trafficking and assume it's not happening because it's not. You're in a world where that doesn't happen anymore, so you wouldn't talk about it, would you? So again, it's focus. Again, maybe not the best example, but some things are hard to get rid of if you keep staring at them. So by focusing on your health, it makes you healthy. It focuses you on the thing you're trying to accomplish, being healthier. That's why I love Healthy Home. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem Active helps raise your stem cell count. Stem cell count's your healing cells, basically. Helps your body, without putting stem cells in you, helps your body create more stem cells, 25 to 40% right out of the gate. These are your healing cells. I was having issues with my shoulder. I dislocated it when I was younger. It was hurting when I was working out. Started taking Stem Active. I don't know, after about 3 weeks, I realized one day at the gym it wasn't hurting anymore. I was like, holy crap. This stuff works. And it does. It just helps heal. They've got it for pets, too. It's about half the price of what you'd pay for humans. They've got a gel version, which is like a liquid. And then they've got the pills. I like the pills. They're just easier. Liquids, my girlfriend preferred it. She didn't like pills, right? And these pills, some say are big. I just took mine just a couple minutes ago, but I don't know. If you think that's a big pill, right, then that's how big they are. I've seen horse pills before that are much worse than that. So, up to you. An incredible product, though, that will help you. Balance is another one, ladies that are going through the transition in and out of baby making. Balance is it's a hormone support, but there's no hormones in it. It's plant-based, and it's just amazing. Women that are either on synthetic hormones or are not on synthetic hormones, some like them, some don't. I've talked to a few, right? They're both using this product and finding it being amazing. It's helping with their moods. It's helping with their temperatures. It's helping with their relationships, their patience, their sleeping, everything. And it's helping bring balance back to their lives. It's literally doing what it says. And it's a transdermal lotion. You just put like one click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks. That's what they all talk about. How many clicks are you on, right? And you put those clicks right onto there, and then you rub your wrists together. You're done. It's transdermal. It's a lot of blood flow through these parts of your body. It's why it's a great place to do a transdermal lotion. Amaze Collagen Support. It's a peptide. It's a fantastic way to get it into your body. If you've got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, if you're someone that's currently losing weight, you might want to consider getting on some Amaze as well. Again, I'm not trying to just, you guys are going to be paying $1,000 a month of my products versus $1,000 a month for pharmaceuticals. But I'll tell you what, you're going to be a hell lot healthier for it. That'll be true. Pharmaceuticals just make you sicker. These products make you healthier. Peptides, especially collagen, is the most important protein in your body, hands down. It's a great way to get it. Amaze will do that. It'll amaze you. Fingernails will start growing. You'll be like, why the hell am I having to cut my nails so often? Oh, shit, that's right. I've been taking collagen. And, of course, Prime is fantastic. Diabetic friend was taking this with she's doing the Unimate stuff and is taking I gave her some Stem Active. Actually, I gave her the gels. I was talking about giving some away. She was one of the people that got it. It's kind of why I wanted certain people to get it, because I can get feedback from them. Prime is one I sent her because I just had some extra of that too. And she said that was causing her sugar levels to drop so low she couldn't get them back up. Now, I think it was probably messing with the sensor because I just have a hard time believing it, because she said she ate a bowl of ice cream and couldn't get her sugar levels up. Like, it's almost hard to believe, right? So be careful. If you're diabetic and you're also using the Unimate product, be careful with the Prime. That's all I'm going to say. But if you're someone that's working out and you're not doing all that other crap, this thing's great. It's more energy. Gets more oxygen into your blood. So as your blood's flowing through your body, it's bringing more of that thing that matters most, really, which is oxygen. That's energy. It's delivering more. So you just have more energy. You don't feel it. It's weird. You notice it because you'll be doing something, and normally you'd be winded. You'll be like, man, right? But me, I'll run up and down the stairs a few times, and it's like, why am I not breathing heavy? I'll walk up and down once sometimes and be like, shit, what the hell, man? I walk the treadmill I walk miles a week, and I'm getting winded walking up and down the steps. Yeah, this Prime makes a huge difference. And again, like I said, Stem Active for your pets. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices. All right, or else, this is what happens once we figure out all the crap we fix. If this is because of the fact that we've gotten this far down the path, right? So much bad stuff's happened in our lives. This is pretty much where we're at. So a lot of stories here. Journalists have discovered residential home after resident home being used as fake businesses to bring over thousands of foreigners on H-1B visas. So here's the scam. This is another thing, might be hard to look for, but it's happening. But there is no business. They're creating fake businesses at their home address and posting fake jobs as loopholes to bring over all their family members and friends into America. We've just uncovered a scheme where thousands of foreigners are being brought into this country, imported here, using the laws already on the books, and using phony businesses and these shell companies which sponsor them for visas. Here's the thing. Considering all you really need to create a business is an address and some paperwork being filed, that truly is it, it's pretty easy just to set up a business, say, from a home address. Then you can just say that you have a bunch of jobs that need to be filled there and sponsor a bunch of visas. That way all your buddies can get granted those visas and come over to America. They're also creating shell companies and importing people by the thousands into America. It's a giant scam that's happening. Wall Street Apes posted this. I think we're just going to play what he's essentially posting.
Administrator, fantastic to see you in person. So we hit the numbers. 6,900 borrowers suspended, about $400 million in alleged fraud. We want to see jail time for these people as well. Is that on the way?
Look, this is in the future. There's handcuffs and jail time coming, because what we saw when we dug into it, it didn't take long when we scratched the surface within 2 days to find $3 million worth of fraud. Then it accumulated up to $430 million, 7,000 fraudulent borrowers. That's in one state. So we're getting to work, taking a deeper dive. We're sending those files over to federal law enforcement for prosecution, and then we're going on to the next state, and we're going to continue to follow through on this, because this is pandemic era fraud that the Biden administration tried to sweep under the rug, and it took money from deserving Main Street businesses. And we know how hard our small businesses work. They make up 99% of all the businesses in all of our states across the country.
Yeah, 7,000 fraudulent small business loans. It's just insane. $430 million being stolen from taxpayers. This is just Minnesota. Here's more. J.D. Vance just revealed that Trump administration found $7 billion of fraud so far in Gavin Newsom's California, a.k.a. my California, too, by the way. Bastard Gavin Newsom. Well, he's almost gone, at least, but Okay, try that again. There we go.
How many more arrests do we think we're going to see nationwide? I mean, look, I think we have a fraud problem that is much worse in California than it is in Minnesota. I was talking actually to our small business administrator. I think she's found probably $500 million of fraud in Minneapolis and the broader Minnesota area. I think she's found $7 billion worth of fraud in California. So this is unfortunately a problem that is much bigger than Minnesota. But it's also, it highlights how absurd this effort to prevent the immigration enforcement is. If you look at blue states, blue cities, you look at Memphis, Tennessee, not a Republican mayor. You look at red states like Texas, but blue cities like Austin. You do not see this level of chaos over the enforcement of our immigration laws. What you have is a small band of very far left people who are doing everything that they can, up to and including assaulting law enforcement officers and raiding churches, to try to make ICE out to be the ultimate enemy and to kind of engage in this weird small-scale civil war against federal immigration law. It's absurd. It's added a lot of chaos here in Minneapolis, and it's one of the problems why I'm here to fix it.
It's one of the things that concerns me the most. Again, focused on the positive, focused on being peaceful, focused on keeping our friends out of the streets and not necessarily trying to make this worse. But at the same time, you know, asking people to go out and establish maybe if some of these businesses are lying. This does put you in harm's way. We are in a basic civil war. Like, I literally can't talk to my family right now. Probably more so on I'm just going to assume the fault for it. I don't care. I mean, I'm really the one that doesn't want that energy in my life. So it's me that's got, I guess, walked away from family members. Certainly, frankly, my sister's the only one I'm actually close to right now. And she's liberal, but not, like, we don't ever talk politics. Never, ever. It's never a topic. It's never something we want to talk about. We enjoy just talking about all sorts of crazy other things. She's an amazing content creator. She's a comedian. So we've always got lots of fun stuff to talk about. And we don't waste time on politics. Neither one of us enjoys talking about, I hate talking about politics. Hate it. I don't hate anything. Well, I don't know. It's not a person, so I guess, but still, hating sucks. I dislike it so much, though. I really do. Might be surprising. I think that's what trips out my stepmom. I just think she blows her mind because she's all about talking about constantly. She's got a vagina hat. I mean, right? Like, I talk about it because I feel like I'm helping the world. I dislike this topic, but it's a means to an end. You know? Like, I got involved because of Trump. I knew it needed to be. I knew it had to happen now. And frankly, I feel like I'm doing more good now talking about this and trying to help people manifest a relationship. It's a better use of my time. But the idea of the Civil War is what they're trying to accomplish. And they're making it difficult. They're doing a darn good job. I mean, the deep state. Getting people riled up to do crazy illegal stuff. So, keep everyone in your prayers, please. Everybody, self-included, please. I don't mind some extra prayers. I appreciate that. Some weird wacko was telling me he was going to pray for me, and I was like, thank you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yes, pray for me. I appreciate that. All said, Governor Walz, I don't know. It's just worth it because the dude's such a... He's just not good. He's not smart. He's just not a smart dude. And so it's kind of fun to watch a non-smart guy not answer questions well and just kind of, I don't know. Anyway, see what you guys think. This is a pretty good little bit when they were questioning him in Congress. I forget who it was talking to him. It's one of the guys we like.
You have failed the people of Minnesota to provide free health care to illegal aliens. You signed the Higher Education Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill allows illegals to have their college tuition paid for by the state. You signed the Driver's License for All Act into law in March of 2023, and that bill allows illegals to receive driver's licenses. So, you claim you're not a sanctuary state. You just provide free health care, free college, and driver's licenses to illegal aliens. One reason you're here testifying before us today is because you refuse to cooperate with ICE. While states like Florida and Virginia empower their law enforcement to detain and remove criminal illegal aliens, you, sir, have done just the opposite. Your Attorney General is directing law enforcement to ignore ICE immigration detainers. Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Well, Congressman, it's good to see you again, and thank you for being here. First, I would say as my job as governor of Minnesota is to make Minnesota the best state in the nation.
Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Congressman, what I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law. I would say
it's a very easy question. And again, if you claim you're not a sanctuary state, you just I guess you just claim that you support policies. You're not a sanctuary state, but you support policies that prevent ICE from doing their job.
Congressman,
isn't that right?
That is incorrect, Congressman. We follow the same laws when you were in the Minnesota House. The law has not changed,
If you'll allow me, I've got limited time. Well, that's what you tweeted, by the way, sir. On May 23rd, 2018, you tweeted, quote, "I support policies that keep law enforcement from enforcing federal laws," close quote. On May 17th, just this spring, at the University of Minnesota Law School's commencement ceremony, you said, quote, "Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets." When you said the words modern-day Gestapo, you were referring to ICE agents. Gestapo, by the way, sir, was the official secret police of Hitler's Nazi Germany. So you're calling ICE agents modern-day Nazis. Given the attacks on ICE agents that took place in Los Angeles over the weekend, don't you regard your dangerous inflammatory rhetoric as a problem?
The questions do you want me to answer first?
So, sir, it saddens me that you refuse to express regret from comparing ICE to Nazis. ICE agents are brave Americans who get up every morning, leave their families, and put their lives in harm's way to protect our country, sir. You, at the very least, owe an apology to these dedicated public servants. I will say, sir, inflammatory rhetoric such as yours and the other governors on this panel is responsible for putting a target on the back of every ICE agent who is risking their life to protect our communities. Minnesota is all too familiar, by the way, with the chaos that ensues when you refuse to work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear. Free healthcare, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities. If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful. Governor Walz, your sanctuary state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now. And with that, sir, actually, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record the governor's tweet that I referenced from May 23rd, 2018, which makes it clear his hatred for federal law enforcement.
And I very much dislike the way that was recorded. That wah, wah, wah crap in the background's annoying as hell. But whatever. I didn't do that. It wasn't me. But what he was saying was important. Triple blow, how Nick Shirley cornered Ilhan Omar in just 24 hours. Pretty funny.
No one realized that within 24 hours of Nick Shirley releasing a video about the Minnesota daycare fraud investigation, Shirley's three key moves threw Ilhan Omar into a panic. First, Shirley directly released Omar's financial disclosures. The data showed that Omar and her husband Tim Milet's assets surged by $30 million in a very short period. This timing coincided with the exposure of the Minnesota daycare fraud scandal, sparking widespread questions about the source and legality of these funds. Faced with mounting scrutiny, Omar has yet to respond or clarify, continuing to avoid the related allegations. Second, Shirley publicly stated that the MEAL Act, which Omar had strongly supported and promoted, was seen as providing an opportunity for systemic fraud. This was no longer just a policy mistake, but a systemic loophole that could lead to even bigger problems. Therefore, Shirley believed that Omar, as one of the bill's advocates, was highly likely to have benefited from it. Third, Shirley revealed that Omar had direct connections with at least 3 fraudsters who have already been prosecuted or convicted. This includes political relations.
Yeah, we're uncovering it, and again, we're going to fix it because of that. Donald Trump talking about more of the fraud going on in Minnesota. Here's a Fox News segment.
Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison. We see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing the 2020 MEALS Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud. Held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant. That's where one of the men who run that restaurant has associations to the convicted individuals. And then there's Tim Walz. House Oversight investigation role in his role as governor. Or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. The Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring.
That's how they're doing it. They're paying off the key players. That's all you got to do. You pay off the key players. It's what the crime bosses used to do back in the day. They'd pay off the head cops, right? Maybe a couple detectives if they had to. Any sort of politicians, the mayor. They're set. They didn't have to worry about anything. They made sure people got elected because they made sure everybody voted the way they were supposed to. Back when they just controlled votes through threats. More crap coming from California. Apparently, we own $1 billion in wasted federal funds that have been given to illegals, or been given illegally, is basically what's happening here. So check this out. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if I turn my camera on just for a second, but I keep forgetting. I keep missing it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But anyway, whatever.
Battle brewing in California. The Trump administration says the state owes the federal government more than $1 billion for health care given to illegal immigrants. William Lajeunesse has the story from L.A. Hi, William.
Well, Dana, there are two stories here, right? One is how rising costs have forced blue states to roll back health care for those without legal status. The other is the White House crackdown on eligibility. If states can't confirm those getting care are U.S. citizens, they have to pay the feds back.
We are auditing aggressively, and we don't like what we see.
In March, the Trump administration began auditing states that provide illegal immigrants with routine health care paid for by American taxpayers. Their findings? 7 states and the District of Columbia owe nearly $1.4 billion for using federal, not state money for immigrant care. Topping the list, California, followed by New York and Illinois.
What's funny is that number, so I can find it, California is $1.3 billion. Everyone else is like $30 million. California's $1.3 billion. Just the $0.3 billion is 10 times higher than number 2. And there's another 1 stacked on top of it. That's insane. New York is biggest state population-wise, $30 million in state-owed Fed funds. Maybe. I don't even know. I can't, wow. So the numbers in California are going to be staggering. And the fact they've lied because of all the illegals with the census and everything like that. I'm going to tell you, even being a Californian, man, I'm happy. Take away a bunch of our seats. I've told you guys before, get out there with pry bars and pry us off into the friggin' ocean. I wouldn't be angry at any of you for doing it. In fact, I've recommended it numerous times. Apparently still won't do it, but whatever. It would be hard, I get that. California homeless fraud bust has happened. This morning, the feds are expected to announce charges against a California man they say used tens of millions in taxpayer dollars meant to feed and house the homeless towards a lavish lifestyle. They went and picked up one of his Range Rovers. It's being towed from the swanky LA mansion. This is believed to be tied to the suspect arrested by the feds in a pre-dawn bust. The man is accused of misusing tens of millions of taxpayer homeless dollars. Homeless dollars. We have so many homeless people here. It's unreal. We have the highest homeless population in the probably the world. I don't know, but certainly in the United States, right? It's insane. And and there's money that should be going to it. Now, the thing that's funny is they pay attention, I think, to where the money's going, but not any of the outcomes. Not if anything is getting better. That's the one thing they're like, nah, we're not. We measure that in different ways. I mean, ways that don't matter, ways that don't show. Anywho, more Nick Shirley. This guy, again, this kid's he's a rock star. Love it. Worse in Minnesota, Nick Shirley exposes some of the massive corruption Gavin Newsom is trying to hide. Again, I think we're going to hit the big numbers, the jackpot. And again, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Kevin McCarthy, who else? There's a couple other ones that are fucking slime balls, right? Think of them. I don't even like my own rep. I've met her in person. She strikes me as slimy. Very good friend of mine that owns an Italian restaurant who I haven't seen in a while because I don't like the waitress that works there. Miss the guy a lot. I miss talking to Sal. Sal's a good guy. Miss him. Anywho, he's talked to her a bunch. He's given her a bunch of money. She sucks. He'll admit it all the time. California's a mess, guys, and I'm I'm here in the middle to expose it. Maybe you're tired of me talking about my state, but ultimately we're the biggest economy in this country, and we are by far the biggest corruption in this country. So yes, hold our feet to the fire, and I will be doing the same. Here's Nick Shirley helping us do just that.
Correct.
What makes you think that?
Well, now you're seeing, since I've posted that video, lots of other people have started to go to other locations, for instance, in Ohio or in Maine or in California. They're also seeing the similar fraud take place in other daycares, for instance, in a lot of other locations.
Yeah, I have a particular interest in California, being from that state, and we know that there's been a lot of fraud. There was $32.6 billion that's been confirmed in unemployment insurance fraud. There's 1.2 million fraudulent community college applications. Have you gotten any sense, or have you seen any signs there that sort of are similar to what aroused your suspicions in Minnesota?
Yeah, and fraud in California might be worse than the fraud in Minnesota.
What makes you say that?
Well, $24 billion went missing for homelessness. They've been trying to build this train for years, yet there's hardly anything to prove for that. Fires.
Yeah, those are good points. So you look at let's run through a couple of those, because I mentioned the areas where we have confirmed fraud, but then you also have these areas where you have so much spending, and then we look at what results from that spending, and there's nothing. So $24 billion in homelessness, and yet the homeless population went up, and a state audit found that they couldn't even figure out where the money went or what the outcomes linked to that spending were. Is that something that is kind of a red flag for you?
Yeah, it's a major red flag, and you don't even have to be smart to be able to know that that's a red flag.
Well, unfortunately, our state legislators haven't managed to figure that out, or at least the governor hasn't. So what are you saying about him?
They're not smart. No, but yeah, I mean, it's so obvious, and that's what we saw in Minnesota, is how complicit the government has been in enabling this fraud to happen. Quality Learning Center had over 90 violations, yet they continue to give that daycare $1.9 million.
Leering Center, I love it. I wonder if it was actually that on paperwork, or anyway, that still cracks me up. That's how you spell it, right? No. Even I know that. I suck at spelling. Convicted felon Democrat moves to ban ICE agents from police jobs in her state. Anybody that was hired into ICE, or I think it's just ICE, while Trump's been in office, she says she will never hire them. This is Washington State Rep Tara Simmons introduced legislation this week to do just that. All right, whatever you guys feel like you got to do. Got a leftist jury in Chicago. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys want to bust people. You want arrests, right? Okay. A leftist jury in Chicago has found Juan Espinosa Martinez, the high-ranking Latin Kings member who put a $10,000 hit out on Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino. They found him not guilty. The left is fighting to legalize domestic terrorism. Now, what it really comes down to is you shouldn't be able to be on a jury if you're not legal. Chicago's got a bunch of illegals, I bet, on this particular jury pool. They control the pools. They know who you are. They know who you are. I got thrown off a jury last time I was on one. It's odd, I've never really been called back. I also know one of the other tricks, here in California anyways, is make sure your voter registration and your driver's license, if you write those camel case in both, you're good. If one of them's different, or if you use a different name, actually I don't think the case matters as much, but if I say, like, I'm a Dan, right? So if I use Dan, or if I use Daniel on one, so I use Dan maybe on my voter registration and Daniel on my ID, I'll show up twice as often in the pool because these two names will get pulled up. They kind of match on name, so name, address, whatever. But if your names are different, then you'll have a duplicate, like two records. You'll have a dupe, if you will. But they'll pick you twice as much, essentially. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyways, it just made me think of it. More of the corruption. Trump admin delivers 6 straight months of zero releases at the borders. I don't know if that's what she's talking about. I think this is related to the fraud. I think.
Must have had something in his coffee. Watch him acknowledge that blue states are driving the affordability crisis.
If America has an affordability crisis, it tends to be in places Democrats govern, like New York, Illinois, and California, which all feature high taxes, soaring housing costs, and stagnant outcomes in basic areas like education and infrastructure.
Whoa, CNN viewers must have been shocked. And then he doubles down with specific examples even.
The mayor-elect wants to spend more money on shiny new programs. But surely it would be worth first asking, what happened to the money already raised? Spending has soared while the subway deteriorates, housing costs rise, and public schools remain mediocre, despite spending more than $36,000 per pupil last year, the highest in the nation among major school districts. The result is a paradox that defines much of blue state America. Government that promises more, costs more, but delivers less.
Yeah, it is pretty messed up. People that steal only steal more unless they get caught. It's just how it works. And that's what's going on in New York, California, all these other places. And they've just been never looked at because the deep state, that's what it's been doing. That's how business worked. You either played the game properly and then you got the funding, which is all the illegal bullshit, or you were on the outside trying to drum up grassroots funding. And you could never compete against the funding machine. You could never compete against it. So this is how they control who wins, and then they took control of the elections themselves to guarantee it. And now they've just got gobs of money that they actually don't even need as much as they used to. They can control the outcomes other ways. So I think they're actually, this is where they've kind of gotten themselves in trouble. I think they actually started dipping into the money now and using it in other ways, but that's probably showing up on the radar a little bit more too. So anyway, all said, everyone's seeing it. Trump's administrator vote turns gaze on federal funding for Dem states. Office of Management and Budget. He's instructed nearly all federal agencies to compile detailed reports on federal funding directed to Democratic-led states, according to documents that surfaced, right? We'll see. The directive is excluding the Pentagon and the Department of Veterans Affairs. Good. But notably, the January 20th memo emphasizes that this is a data-gathering exercise only and states that it does not involve withholding funds and therefore does not violate any court's orders. So they're not pulling back funds, but they're like, but we're going to still keep pulling data. And the court orders were probably meant, and I'm sure the courts are going to try to come out and now say, well, you can't pull data. And they don't have a legal right to do that. This is literally courts just trying to block the government from doing what it needs to do, which is illegal. It's a federally legal thing that they're seeking to do. And you've got judges in states, they're federal judges, but in states that are able to block federal movements. It's horribly illegal. Now, we'll get to a story here in a second, I think, that talks about what might be coming, hopefully. J.D. Vance says, are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? So this is a story that's been floating around right now. I just wanted to make sure, I guess I covered it, just in case some retard hits you up and you're like, what? They're like, why would they arrest a 5-year-old or detain a 5-year-old? This is what everybody's saying, because that's what Ilhan Omar and AOC is screaming about. Here's our vice president telling us what actually happened.
Local school district here is alleging ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE. Local school district here is alleging ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota right now?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We had just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh, my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I did a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, if you're a parent, that'd be a reason to have kids. Hell, I'd go get someone knocked up immediately, and I'd just start breaking the law everywhere. Right? Just walk around with my gun. Be like, hey, you're going to give me that. Why? You can't do that? Yeah, I can. I have kids. I can do whatever I want. I am immune. Here is the, what's this? I can't remember this. I've got it under the shift, so this is part of the good. This guy's talking about some of the good stuff he's doing. Was this Duffy? I'm trying to blank on his name. Oh, well, it is what it is.
So what's the announcement this morning? So my Department of Energy has announced we're going to return over $13 billion to the taxpayers. That's over $100 per American family. This was money
Chris right, but I was so wrong. Anyways, whatever.
Passed and slated to be energy subsidies. But we need the subsidies have been corrosive because they've not only cost taxpayer money, but then they've led to more expensive electricity bills. We lose twice. So we're doing everything we can in the Trump administration to stop the rise in energy prices. So money that was going to go to green energy, to subsidize green energy, is instead going back to the Treasury? Yes. So I thought that green energy was going to be like an all of the above, like a part of the energy dominance platform. Is this take it off the table? What's going on? With green energy, and again, I don't agree with the name, but with solar and wind and electric vehicles, which is where most of the money has gone, they've just barely gotten to 3% of United States energy and 2.5% of global energy. So it's just been a massive malinvestment. We've made electricity more expensive. We've pushed industries and jobs out of our country, haven't moved the needle on global greenhouse gas emissions. It has been, as the president said, I think he rightfully characterizes it as a scam.
Yeah, so Chris Wright, yeah, I didn't know who he is. Forget who's who. At least when some of those guys, right? Needless to say, yeah, we're making changes where changes need to be made. It's fantastic. Donald Trump truth this, amongst many things. Highly respected Senator Coach Tommy Tuberville, Senator, one of the good ones, is running for governor of Alabama, a place I love and won big 6 times. So he's getting out of the Senate, going to become the governor. That's actually a cool move. Protect the state. It also almost has to make you wonder what's going to happen to the Senate. I don't think we're going to wait out all these elections. I do think at some point the what are those Trump playing guys their case. I think their case might move forward. Hopefully pop into my head, but whatever. The Brunson twins, those guys. That might come into play. There's getting people out of the way in this next election, like this is do or die. If you think about it, that kind of makes sense, right? Trump's going to be like, all right, we're going to give you one more go. He's already talking about maybe running for election again. That kind of, to me, implies that we're going to likely go towards the Republic again, in which case he becomes the 17th president, I think, right? So there is a lot of little weird things happening in the background. Again, am I seeing it because of confirmation bias? Maybe, I don't know. I try to stand back from it a little bit. Could be any number of things, right? Just rewarding this guy and getting him the hell out of the Senate because the Senate sucks. Don't know. But he'd do more for his state, obviously, as a governor, and it's fantastic. House Speaker endorses the idea of impeaching federal judges over rulings. He says, he says, I'm for it, Judge Boasberg's one of the people they've mentioned. The other one is Deborah Boardman. Wouldn't be surprised if we'd add a few more, or at least these two might serve as great examples to what's going to happen to you as a federal judge, blocking federal actions in weird ways for people that have no say. Like some of these federal actions, I want to say one of them, it's a union, and this has to do with deporting people. And the union shouldn't really even have standing. I can't remember which one. I want to say it's one of those. Yeah, anyways, there's so many. One of these cases where they're literally like, you got to keep paying. So they are considering the idea of impeachment. The House is something that has to answer to the people every 2 years. The House is, albeit part of that same mechanism of funding that's changing. So there is a very strong uniparty within the House. That needs to be cleaned up. That can be done in one election coming up. So, yes, this will be interesting. This would also be something that would go in strong for the elections. It'll play negative against us for the small progressive group of people, but it's a tiny percentage of the population when you play the numbers. Overwhelmingly, people support law and order. And everybody, really, the at least sensible people, are seeing things aren't as good. California, we know our gas prices are the highest in the nation. When everybody's going to be talking about how they're under $2, I'm going to be like, fuck, I just paid $4.50. That's not happening here. Again, there's so much. I want to say, they say it's a special blend. I don't believe that for a second. I think there's stuff packed onto the price. We were an oil state for a long time. There's a lot of oil deals that have been made. There's like 4 families or 5 families that have been running this state for 200 years. The corruption in California is off the chart. We have the 4th largest GDP in the world. Think about that for a second. Larger than Germany. California does. Just California. Well, maybe it used to before Hollywood dried up, but still. A lot of it's all those tech companies which are also leaving. California is a huge power player. That's why Gavin Newsom showing up to Davos was, well, not a surprise. And the way he got dogged was super funny. We're heading there, guys. We're getting there. A magistrate judge in Minnesota who refused to allow charges for Don Lemon. You guys remember how he just refused to take these charges? Well, this person's married to an assistant attorney general in Democrat AG Keith Ellison's office. Again, just Keith Ellison's one of the people they're investigating right now. If there's any truth to this judge should have recused herself. Now, how the judge thing gets fixed, I feel like the Supreme Court has to deal with. And they're not touching it, other than they're pissed off and don't think impeachment's the right way to go. Well, and they did mention, I forget what it's called, another path they could go. That was more of the judicial branch, the judicial branch kind of policing its own. All right, well, do that. You've got so many people. You're not even investigating. What do you need, a budget? This is insane. Insane. Here's 3 of the people that ran into that church. Mugshot, St. Paul Church stormers, Nakima Levy Armstrong, Chantil Allen, and William Kelly. They have all been released. All the mugshots, I should say, sorry. Now, Don Lemon should be on this. Now, I'm wondering if these people will be released from jail. Because, again, we can't get justice in these states. The blue slip laws that Grassley won't let go of are prohibiting us from putting federal judges in cities and states that are blue. So they're continuing to do this. It is the uniparty move. So again, Grassley, sweet guy with the corn. Oh, your corn's growing. Yeah, fuck you, Grassley. Fuck you. Put that corn thing up your ass. And then shove a corncob pipe in your mouth and let you smoke that while you walk around funny. Bastard. You're such a sweet man. It's so disappointing. Again, it's like finding out some of the Hollywood people I love. Tom Hanks. Fuck, that one still hurts. That was... Children's Health Defense files RICO lawsuit against American Academy of Pediatrics. What I think is super funny about this is the Academy of Pediatrics, I believe, sued the CDC or something weird because of how they basically said they changed their child drug plan, and then they basically removed them as somebody they recommended and stopped funding them or something. So then they sued for no longer funding. Well, interestingly, now the Children's Health Defense is filing a lawsuit against the Academy of Pediatrics. Fudge, you guys. Borrow one of Grassley's corn things and shove it up your ass too. Or your thumb, but that's really left for Keir Starmer. He's thumbing, bud. Those eyes, man. I'm telling you, every time you see him, I hope you guys are like, damn it, Dan, you fucking ruined it for me. I'm like, thank you. You're welcome. You are welcome. Shoot. That's how that works. All right, let's see if we can. I'm not doing horrible. I was expecting this to be worse. Jury weighs case against man accused of putting bounty on Border Patrol. Yeah, we already talked about that. He's been released. God. Anyway, Zoran Mamdani says the New York City kids on Monday. This is very interesting. This seems to be going back to the idea of centralized education. Education from one set of teachers, one set of criteria. Everybody learns the exact same thing. How do you do properly, like do a Chinese, like, communist? I don't know what it is, but that's as communist gets. He says, Monday, if it's snowing, you're not getting a snow day. You're either going to be in school, in class, or remote. Interesting. Think about that, guys. First off, I mean, I don't know, every one of us that grew up in a place that snowed every once in a while, a snow day was epic, but it just added a day longer in the year. That's why I always tripped when I came to California and, like, our summer started way sooner than I remembered. You know, I was like, wow, we used to start summer way later. This is awesome. And we start school about the same time. What was all the snow days? California, we never have snow days, at least where I lived. There is parts of California that get snow. That's for sure. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Mamdani's a mom bummer. That's what he is. Donald Trump, what is this? He just blind posts. I don't remember why I put this here.
I think this court.
Oh, yeah. This is, we're heading into the budget stuff. Okay, yeah, this is Witkoff, and he is, or, no, sorry, good Lord. This dude, I love him. There's the two things I was going to play of his that were longer. I don't think I got the other one. I don't have the other one queued up. Good. It was like 2 minutes. I love him. I mean, just listen to him talk. He knows what he's talking about. And right now, he's being kind of arrogant and cocky, and I love it. He's being a little kind of tough towards, Best End is too, but tough towards China and definitely tough towards the WEF. We shared this dude's speech yesterday at the WEF. I think it was yesterday's show at the WEF, where he was just basically saying, yeah, so all this globalism crap's stupid and it's not working, and it's proven to not work. Al Gore booed him. I think that might have been the thing I was playing that I was watching that I wanted to play, but Al Gore was booing him, and he's like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened, having Al Gore boo me, because it was one person boo, and he's like, who's booing? He literally, during his speech, I love this guy, who's booing? And he's like, you? And it was Al Gore. He posted that, and Al went, boo. And he's just like, it was the greatest moment ever. So this dude is definitely a rock star. Unquestionably.
I think this quarter, the first quarter of 2026, the United States of America's $30 trillion economy will exceed 5% growth.
Wow. 5%.
Exceed 5%. And if we get a new Fed chair, which we'll get this summer, and they cut rates, which they should, because why is the greatest credit in the world paying the highest rates? You saw the 10-year, right? We just looked at it. 4.25. We are 200 basis points higher than anybody else in the world, and we're the best credit. Usually you would say, no, the best credit pays the lowest rate, not the highest rate. If they cut that rate, you're going to see the end of 2026, you're going to see 6% growth from the United States of America. Wow. And I tell you what, that fixes a whole lot of stuff, and that's why you put Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
Yeah, quite amazing. Now, I want to say this really quick. Hang on.
It's
okay, Maria Bartiromo, you're hottie, unquestionably, even at your age. I don't know how old you are, but you're wait. That's all I can say. But, hang on a minute. Ein Minuten bitte. What the shit's up with this dude? What the fuck's going on with you? First off, it almost seems like she's got some action going on down here. What's up? Did you just have like ice or what is going on? You have these giant ass glasses, stupid big hat. It's cold, Dan. Is it? Is that what you're going to tell me? Over here we got Baldy fucking just throwing kelvins of temperature out the top of his head straight into the atmosphere. It's going to start raining above him in a fucking second. What? In the glasses. This shit's going on with Maria. I mean, he's got a jacket on. It's obviously cold. I don't want to say the P word right now, but comes to mind for some reason. The conservative alternative. The value of the dollar depreciated by nearly 25% the last 4 years under Biden. That's really hard for people to understand, but the prices we're paying right now are because of that. Now, a lot of that inflation, they typically don't count energy, but they should. So that's one of the bummers is when they bring energy down. I mean, it helps a lot, but it doesn't change the inflation of the dollar. A little. Rents are another one, hugely inflated, especially in a lot of places wherever they try to control stuff, wherever there's a lot of government funding, spending, there's enhanced rents. California, our rents are extraordinary. I don't even know. I mean, people talk about how you can't afford to buy a house. You can't afford to rent. You need to go in with like 15 people to rent a one-room. The place is, there's a place just down by this, it's called Spectrum, Irvine Spectrum. It's kind of a nice little area. Right? You can get an apartment over there. It's a nicer area, but it's here in Orange County, like Irvine. It's not like, super fancy. I think it's like over $4,000, $5,000 for like a 2-bedroom apartment. Literally. It's like $5,000. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, the value of the dollar has gotten smashed during Trump's term. Is that going to get fixed? No. It's why the price of gold is where it's at. In fact, silver broke 100 today. I don't know how it finished the day, but I've still got snapshots. It was, oh my God. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm being as honest as I possibly can. I'm telling you, if you guys want to protect your dollar, you would be wise to at least divest some of it into precious metals while you can. This is the price of McDonald's, 2009. I remember this shit being way cheaper because it's probably even been prior to that since the last time I went to McDonald's, maybe with the exception of an occasional sausage McMuffin. That is my weakness there. I love those. In fact, I got their McNuggets the other day. I tried one. It was like a year or two ago. And I ate it. It was just like, no, they're not even good. Like, it was weird. Ugh. Anyway, I know some of you guys probably live by them. Big Mac now, $5.79, then $3.89. Now $4.39 for the with the McFlurry. Yeah. Back then it was $2.39, so $2 cheaper. Hash browns, $1 then. Now they're $2.89 each. That's crazy. Small fry back then, $1, now $2.49. Back when they had a dollar menu and it actually meant something. Remember the $5 footlong at Subway? It's like that's so stuck in my head. It's gonna be like $5 pickle. Like I don't even, because you're not gonna ever be able to get a fucking sandwich for $5 anymore. Even the small, right? $5 6-inch just doesn't work. Doesn't have it. Happy Meal $7.19 now, then $4.39. You guys get the point, I think. Apple pie is disappointing. Back then, for $1, you could get 2 of them mofos. 2 apple pies. Guarantee you'd get fat. They were working on it. Now it's $3 for 1. Ouch. We've talked about it before. Back in 1913, $1 you could buy 30 Hershey's chocolate bars. Full size, the big ones. 30 of them. Today, $1 you can buy a little bag of discount gummy worms. Or gummy bears if you prefer. $1. It's the same Federal Reserve note. What's funny is back in 1913, this would buy me a fully handmade tailored suit, 1 gold piece. Worth, I think, about $30 back then. Today, handmade tailored suit. Buying power. Right now, that handmade tailored suit costs almost $5,000. Actually, probably less than that. I'd probably get to keep some money, but whatever. I would probably net and positive right now because of the way things are playing out. Holds the buying power. And like I said, you'll make a little. Silver, on the other hand, holds buying power plus. There's a factor in silver. Silver was, at the beginning of 2025, was right around, 39, 38, 37, somewhere around there. An ounce. Closed out the year, we almost broke 80. We did, and it came back down hard. Today, where are we at? Let's see, it was at 101. Yeah, it's still 101.78. 101.78. Literally, a year ago, today, close enough. A year ago today, it was at 39. And today we're at 101. Way over one time. It's not doubled almost though. It's close to doubling. The value has gone up even further. It's trying to get closer to the proper parity. No one really knows exactly what that is. I mean, if I went by dollars and cents, This is a $100 coin. This is a $5 coin, right? So theoretically, there should be, 20 of these in one of these, right? I think I'm doing the math right there. So 20 to 1, if that ratio holds. But that's just, I don't know, who knows? But there's already a ratio. People are wondering, what do you think the money's going to go back to? Well, this is a $100 coin. It's 1 ounce of gold. It's a $100 coin printed by the Treasury. Here you go. This is legal money. This is legal money. That's what we're going to. Treasury notes. Printed, minted. That's what we constitutionally have the right to mint coins. Here's a $100 coin. Now, did they do some sort of weird XRP in the background to move coins around, like bits of coins or part of coins? So I could take this one coin and technically deposit it someplace, lose the actual coin, but now have the equivalent of credits of some kind? Maybe. That's probably what's happening. And maybe XRP plays a back-end role. I don't know about that. We'll see. They've already got banking is done electronically, so you don't need XRP. Bitcoin's way too slow, by the way. And if you do some research into a lot of why it came out and why it's used and what it's used for, like you will lose your mind. But yeah, it's all said. We'll see what happens. Honestly, I don't think we need money, but that's like, I think that's like 20, 30 years down the road. Anyway, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Let my good friends help you divest whatever you can. Keep pumping money into that 401k. Shoot, like Trump says, it's going to double. But that's inflation, guys. That's not good, per se. I mean, some of it will be legitimately good for this country. This country's GDP is going up. We're moving in the right direction economically. We got to figure out how to get the Fed out. That is a confirmation bias I have. Maybe that never happens. It needs to. It should. It's happened 2 other times. Jackson and I forget what, Lincoln? Whoever the other one was. I forget who the other one was. But Jackson's one of Trump's favorite presidents because many things, but he also kicked the Fed out. That's coming. That's going to create problems, and it's going to happen once the Federal Reserve note is so screwed up. It's like, yeah, we can't use this thing anymore. Or if he can stop the debt and suddenly it inflates so high, then he uses the ridiculously highly inflated money to pay the debt and then be like, we're done with you, and walks away. It's like, again, how this plays out, I don't know. Don't get stuck in it. Take some of your winnings, protect the buying power with gold or silver. It's an IRA, it's pre-tax, you're doing it tax-free, penalty-free. You're going to get up to 10% free silver from my good friends at Goldco. They love you that much. And if you can call quickly, you're going to possibly get the free half-ounce Ronald Reagan coin. It's silver, it's 0.999% pure, it's U.S. Treasury as well. Super cool. All these things can happen just by you protecting your wealth. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. That's the hard, tricky part. That's right. U.S. owes the WHO money. They're saying we're not allowed to just walk away, and we have to pay off our debt before we walk away. Otherwise, we can't walk away. They're saying all this stupid shit, but like Trump's saying, you don't have any way to enforce this, or at least that's what experts are saying. There's no way to enforce this. And, yeah, so this is just the WHO being stupid. But, yeah, it's a messy divorce is what they're basically saying. We're walking away from the WHO, unquestionably. And China can pay for it. We don't care. That's fine. Go ahead, China. You pay for all that stuff, and you realize how much that starts to draw down you. Because there's no way you win on that. Trump attributes new bruise on his hand to aspirin consumption. Everyone's talking about this, too. Let's go ahead and play this lovely young man telling us about it.
And President Trump dismissed concerns about bruising visible on his left hand. The president was flying from Switzerland back to the U.S. when a reporter asked him if he was okay. Trump said he's good, adding that the bruising was part of one of the side effects of his high intake of aspirin.
I flipped it on the table. So I put a little, what do they call it, cream on it, but I clipped it. I would say take aspirin if you like your heart, but don't take aspirin if you don't want to have a little bruising. If you take I take the big aspirin. And when you take the big aspirin, they tell you you're bruised. The doctor said, you don't have to take that, sir. You're very healthy. I said, I'm not taking any chances. So anyway, but that's one of the side effects of taking aspirin. Thank you very much, everybody.
So there you go. He bruised his hand because he's taken the big aspirin, which I don't know, is it 100 or 1,000 milligrams? I don't even know what the big aspirin is. I assume it's a certain level of milligrams. I know you heart people do it, so yeah, I don't need to. Yeah, whatever it is. It's a lot, I'm sure. What is it? I don't even know what regular milligrams are. I don't even take aspirin. Occasionally I'll take a Tylenol, which is really bad for you. Typically I'll take Advil, but yeah, it's rare. It's rare. Donald Trump, when he was in Dallas, this is kind of cool. And it's good to see, I think, visually. It's Trump actually walking the line of I don't know if this was the G7 guys, but these are world leaders. And not all of them, of course, but many of them just wanted to shake his hand and meet him, just like any other one of us. Just want to meet you, sir. I'd just love to be able to shake your hand. You think about that. It's like one thing I think about, I'm in a tiny microcosm of what Trump experiences. He's got millions and millions and millions of people that just want to shake his hand. If you think about what if you took 2 seconds per handshake? That'd be tough. You'd really have to have that organized, right? You'd be like, all right, get your hand out. Your third coming up. All right, get ready. You're going to get 2 seconds. That's it. 2 seconds. All right, you're going to see a timer. You're going to immediately go. You're going to shake his hand. You're going to move out, and you're going to go. All right, you got that? You agree? You signed right here? Okay. 2 seconds per 70 million people would be 140 million seconds. That's a long time. Not worth the time, but I kind of want to do it. 140 seconds, right? So 140 million seconds. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's right. Yes. Whoops, nope, too many. There you go. 140 million. We're going to divide that by 60 because that's seconds. So we're going to get into minutes. There's minutes. All right. That's wow, shit ton of minutes. Let's divide it one more time by 60 to get it into hours. All right. 38,000 hours. Let's divide that by 24 to get days. So that's 1,620 days of just constant handshaking. My point is sometimes the numbers are overwhelming. I don't know if I guess there's no volume. I thought there was volume for some reason. But yeah, like everyone wants to meet him. I'm surprised Milei didn't have his chainsaw with him. Huh. That would have been cool. That is definitely something you just want to lug around with you. Is this going to be carry-on, or are you putting this in the overhead, or where are you putting that chainsaw, sir? I don't know who this is. This Filipino? I don't know who this is because I don't know who this dude is. But this dude, huge respect, mad respect. And he does it in a very Asian-y, kind of respectful, kind of weird, cool way. He touches them in a very specific place. Again, this is, and he probably, like a regular person, like, it's like I could snap your wrist. Right? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know where, like Malaysia, or I don't even know where the Bali or some weird shit. I have no friggin' idea. But you see these people are stoked to meet him. This is what the rest of the world actually thinks. Not the douche hole in France, Germany, EU, England, Mr. Yeah, that guy. Pretty sure that's the noise he'd make. It's got to be close, needless to say. And if it was needless, I wouldn't have said it, but yeah. YouTube censors this Eva Vladimировic's viral speech. So I wanted to see, hopefully, YouTube's okay with this now. We'll see. They might strike me for it. So YouTubers, I don't know if you guys don't see this cool video of Adam. You'll see. It's a chick talking with an accent, but she speaks English at least. If you don't see it, I'm sorry.
Let's take Amsterdam, the capital. Amsterdam currently consists of 56% migrants. The Hague, 58% migrants. Rotterdam, almost 60% migrants. And of course, most of these immigrants come from non-Christian, non-Western, African and Middle Eastern countries. Conclusion, the Dutch population is already outnumbered in the majority of our cities. But let's look onwards. London, 54% migrants. Again, conclusion, native population outnumbered. Brussels, color me shocked, 70% migrants. Conclusion, native population majorly outnumbered. And other Europeans will, of course, follow suit soon if they haven't already. So I'm going to draw the forbidden conclusion here. The Great Replacement theory is no longer a theory. It's reality. And what's interesting about replacement is that the establishment will either deny its existence, or when they admit to it, they say that it's a good thing that the native European population is soon no longer a majority on its own continent. Dutch national disgrace and dubbed climate pope Frans Timmermans already stated in 2015 that diversity is humanity's destiny and that Europe will be diverse. And of course, by now, I think we all know what they mean with the word diversity. It means less white people, less of you. Imagine this in an Asian or an African country. Imagine their leaders rejoicing in the fact that their people will soon no longer be a majority in their own country. Absolutely unthinkable, unimaginable. So what in the world is wrong with our leaders?
Right? Let's see if that's even allowed to be played. Putin, sorry, not budging. He's had talks with Witkoff. They went well. Everyone's talking good. Awesome. It all comes down to territory. They're not willing to concede territory. They're not willing to give up territory they've already won. They're not willing to give up territory that they consider to be, at this point, Russian anyway. And so they're like, nah, it's cool. We'll just keep beating them up. Don't worry about it. So there's a huge problem. There's not a lot they can do. I don't know. We've got rumor that Trump's holding back some weapons. I don't know if that's exactly true. I think it's a messaging that they're putting out to like, oh yeah, no, Ukraine, we're going to get you some weapons. And ultimately, Ukraine, you've got to let this war end. And you lost that land. Let's just pull back. You lost it. Give up. Because otherwise, what more are you willing to give up to what? To lose it anyway? Because you're not going to keep it. We could give you all the weapons in the world, which we've done already, and you lost. You got smoked. We weren't allowed to use the good stuff anyways, please. This is kind of like Vietnam. It's a war we were never supposed to win. We were just supposed to wear out Russia, but Russia's been on war footing forever, and it didn't wear them out. In fact, it wore us all out. So, kind of funny to a degree. Now, it's been hard on Russia, unquestionably. They've lost millions of people, unquestionably. Ukrainians have lost over 1 million people. Unquestionably. So, yeah, none of this is good. Needs to stop. So we'll see. A lot of this. Ukraine attacked, this whole article's about Ukraine attacked Moscow, blacked out Moscow. They don't really care about the idea of civilians being, blackout in the middle of a cold time, right? So after they did that, that was when supposedly Putin ticked for tact or whatever and attacked Ukraine, and basically they don't have power. So most of Ukraine right now is literally blacked out, and there's no hope for power to be turned back on, and they're in the middle of winter. Very cold. What we're experiencing here is probably very close to what they deal with on a somewhat regular basis. It's going to be pretty horrible. Japan's apparently waiting on about $7.2 billion worth of U.S. arms. This deal was made back about 5 years ago, which I guess would put it close to the beginning of the Biden term, or Trump might have started it and then Biden just ignored it. I don't know. But it's not happening yet for some reason. Now, the speculation is that we're planning on giving these weapons to Ukraine. I kind of doubt that. What would be the point of just having brand new weapons, unless they buy them, unless Europe buys them? But what would be the point of just handing brand new weapons and then having them destroyed? We can give them to Japan. They can use them for 20 years, and they'll probably actually be good with them. I mean, they just took out an F-16 recently, one that Ukraine was flying. I think they got it with a SAM, for that matter, surface-to-air missile. All said. Things are happening. They're getting crazy. The deep state's desperately trying to stop Trump. Trump's screwing with the economy, and again, the stock market can't get too weird because if it does, then people freak out. So they're doing a tap dance right now. And I'm sure Trump's made some threats to the deep state. It's like, look, you screw with our stock markets and I will destroy you. I will literally put a bomb through your fucking house in Switzerland, in Geneva. I'll do it. We got shit. We'll make it look. It won't be a plane flying over. I don't need to do that. We'll smoke you. We'll take you from whatever hidey hole you're in. I will come and grab you personally. That's how good our shit is. The world's freaking out right now. Well, the good guys know the change is happening. At least I hope you guys do. You guys are playing a huge part, huge role. We've got a lot of corruption that needs help being brought to the surface. I hope you guys can help with that. Rippling out your local communities, certainly. Anything that's happening in your area that you're finding out about, ripple it out. At least let people hear it. Even if nobody listens to you, who cares? Let the 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 people that do listen to you, or hopefully way more, let them hear about it. Get practiced at informing people. And you'll be surprised how many more people will end up in your feed. Keep up the hard work, guys. I love you, and I'm proud of you. And where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.